In this second video, we will talk about a finite blush product. So what is a finite blush product? Well, it's a meromorphic function of this form. You have a zeta, which is a norm1 complex number, and a product of particular Mobius transformations with zeros in the unit disk. Also, we don't ask this Mobius transformation to be distinct. You can have in this product many times the same zero, AI. In particular, we will focus on blush products of the form b of z equals z times z minus a over 1 minus the conjugate of a z times z minus b over 1 minus the conjugate of b times z, and so on. So b of 0 is equal to 0, and say in the notations of Wikipedia, zeta is 1. So in particular, you have this little z. At least we ask at least one of the zeros of b to be 0. And in fact, it's not really a restriction, but we will see it later maybe. In particular, we would like to study the solutions of b of z equal lambda for some norm1 complex number lambda. The basic theory of blush products says that b of z equal lambda for lambda norm1 complex number have n distinct solutions when b of z is of degree n. What is the degree of b? Well, it's the degree of the numerator, seen as a polynomial in z. It's the number of zeros of b, if you want. So n distinct solutions, and these solutions will also be on the unit circle, like lambda. So what I would like to do in this code is to give a function that is able to, starting from a blush product and lambda, compute these solutions, and then we will sort them by increasing argument, and then we will link them, or more precisely, we will take a solution and link it to the next one, and then to the next one, and then to the next one, and so on, and then see what happens. So the theory says already a lot of things, but what we would like to do is to give some observations, and then to link these observations with the first video, and then we will be able to say more. Okay, def blush solver takes in input the zeros of b, so b is fully determined by its zeros. Once you know the zeros of b, you know everything on b when it is of this form. So in input we have b zeros, and it takes also in input the lambda, and we will return the roots, so the solutions. Okay, we want to solve an equation like this, but if you write b of z as some numerator divided by some denominator equal lambda, then it is equivalent to solve numerator minus lambda times denominator equals 0. And we have some tools in Python to do that, so it's easier like this. Okay, we need to construct the numerator and the denominator, and then we will be able to solve this polynomial equation. First, the numerator is equal to, I will need to import numpy, import numpy point polynomial import polynomial. So this is equal to polynomial 1. So this is p of z equal 1. Denominator is the same. And then we will loop over the zeros of b to construct our numerator and our denominator. Same p of z is equal to 1. And for a in b zeros, numerator is equal to itself times polynomial of so we want to multiply by z minus a. This is minus a1. Yeah, denominator is equal to itself times polynomial of 1 and np point conjugate of a. So this is 1 minus the conjugate of a z. We are done with the loop. Now we construct our polynomial. Blaschk poly is equal to denominator minus c lambda times denominator, and we compute the roots. So Blaschk poly point roots is equal to roots. We also want to sort them by increasing arguments. So roots is equal to, is updated as roots sorted by angle. And we return np point array of roots. Yeah. Now we can define and call, the inputs of this Blaschk solver and then call it to see the answers. Or actually, we can also directly plot them by creating the function plot to do the figure. Okay, we will do that in fact. So c lambda is equal to np point exp of 2j times np point pi times okay, in fact we will loop over many values of lambda, compute for each of these lambdas the solutions, and plot everything at the same time. Okay, in range enter is equal to 4. For k in range enter, we define our c lambda times k over n enter, then we call Blaschk solver at, okay, we need also to define the zeros of b, so b zeros is equal to 0. We said that one of the zeros of b is 0, so let's say that it's the first one. We don't care about the order. Another 0 could be 0, 3, and then 0, 4 plus 1j over 5. So j is the normal, it's I, the complex number I. And then we call this function with b zeros and c lambda. And this is our solutions, and then we want to plot them. Def plot solutions of, it takes input roots and return nothing, it's just creating the figures. So what do we want to do? Let's first plot all the solutions. Okay, we need to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. for roots point real, roots point image, color blue, and we will plot them like this. Okay, then we define n as the length of the roots. We loop over all the roots and we plot the link between root k and root k plus 1 reduced modulo the n, the size of the number of elements in roots. Roots k point real, roots k plus 1 reduced modulo n point real. Same thing for the image. Color red. And then we are done, I think. Yes. Plot solutions of roots. We will also plot the unit circle to see that all the solutions are indeed on it. So theta is equal to n point line space of so we create numbers between 0 and 2 times pi, 400 numbers for example, and then plt point plot np cosine theta, then np point sine of theta, like this, then plt point show, and we also want to resize well, the scaling of x-axis and y-axis will be the same if we do this point get current axis point set aspect equal. Blaschk solver. So Python Blaschk no Blaschk solver for k in range, yeah, in range n. That's a mistake. Okay, it doesn't work. So plt point roots, denominator c lambda is this. The zeros of b are indeed in the unit disk. We indeed have minus a. Oh, there is a minus here. Still wrong. And for k roots and real image k. For k in orange and iter c lambda. That should be fine. Case here, it's fine. Roots c lambda, we loop over it, yes. Range and iter. That's fine too. And p roots, yes. plus 1. Ouais. What is happening? It looks like 1 to 1. What is that? Is that fine? 0.2. No. Oh, it's numerator minus C lambda. Okay. Yeah, it's better. So yeah, we get a funny picture. In fact, it's the union of 4 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they are all tangent to some curve. For now we don't know which curve, but okay. Let's put n iter equal 10, so we have more solutions. And we get something that looks like maybe a circle or an ellipse. We can try with more zeros also. 0.2, 1j over 10, 0.8 plus times 1j. There are many zeros. Let's see what happens. Okay, now we get a really strange curve. It's clearly not an ellipse, but it has this property that it is inscribed in a family of polygons. We can see that like this if I compute only one set of solutions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a 6-sided polygon that is circumscribing this strange curve. And we can do that for all the blush products. You can change these zeros and check what happens. But we have at least 3 results on blush products. So the first one is the following. It is said here. A degree 3 blush product with 0, A and B admits an associated Bentley ellipse with equation the norm of z minus A plus the norm z minus B is this constant. That's for degree 3 blush products. And for degree 4 blush products, we also have a necessary and sufficient condition that is the following. Degree 4 blush product is associated to an ellipse if and only if it can be written as the composition of 2 degree 2 blush products. So these are the two important results about blush products of degree 3 and 4. It also exists a result on degree 6 blush product, I think, to know if it is associated to an ellipse or not. But you can see that you have some conditions on the zeros of this blush product, these blush products, to know if it is associated to an ellipse or not. And if it's not an ellipse, then we get a strange curve that has somehow the same property as the conics, because it has this property that if you start on any point on the unit circle, then you can close a polygon starting from it with the same number of sides as any starting point. Okay, so now the question is what what are the necessary and sufficient condition for a Blasch degree n Blasch product to be to an ellipse. We often call the Strauss curve the Blasch curve of a Blasch product. So here, Blasch curve, when is the Blasch curve equal to an ellipse? And the other question is, well, is there any degree n with n high? Is there any degree n Blasch products which are associated to some ellipses? And in fact, there is a theorem that says that they do exist, but the real question is, how do we find them? How do we compute the zeros of these Blasch products of degree n so that their Blasch curve is an ellipse? And that's the big question, and I will give the answer in one of the next videos.